Hello, Beauty News family. Welcome back to another episode of Beauty News Reviews. Today, Kat, show them what we've got. Oh, can you see? It's a quick flick.
It was upside down.
So, we have the quick flick here for the perfect wings. So, this is a felt tip eyeliner pen with a stamper, a wing stamper.
Yes. So this is an Australian brand. I think there are a few brands that do these type of things, like Ciate have one, etc., etc. But yeah, Quick Flick is a pretty well-known Australian one that you can get in Priceline now, I think. They come in different shades and different sizes. Mm-hmm. Now, ours, I believe, are the biggest sizes, which are the 12 millimeter. So there's 3 sizes. I've got the black one. You've got the brown one.
I do, yeah.
So we're going to try these today and see if you can get a good flick with them. I'm really curious. I do wear winged liner often, so I want to see if this little hack works.
All right. So each pen, you get 2 pens in a box. Okay. Each pen has a marker tip. So it's just a standard felt tip liner.
It's quite fat with a quite thin pointed end.
It does say grand 12 millimeter, so I wonder if you get smaller ones that they are potentially smaller. I don't know, but we've only got the 12 millimeter, so we can only talk on what we've got. And then at the other end, you get your flicks, and the reason there's 2 is because there's one for the right, one for the left. Mm-hmm. So...
Can I say I never actually realised that would be the case, because Ciate have one and it's 1.
Yes.
But it's one that you can sort of put over to the other side.
I know.
So I think it's interesting that they've actually designed one for left and one for right, because other brands have one that can be used on both eyes.
It makes me think that the one, when it's a universal, it's just a triangle, whereas this one has a curved side and...
Yes.
Well, they're both curved, but they curve in different directions, so... Yeah. Interesting.
All right, let's try it.
Let's do it.
The wing is quite big. I'm not going to lie. I'm worried.
Oh, yeah, this is bad.
Uh-oh. That was not a good stamp. Oopsie daisy. Okay, I'm going to try a different angle. Okay, that's not good either. I don't know if it's just not good for hooded eyes or not good for, eyes. I don't know. It's just...
Yeah. Look, I got it on, but I need to fix it.
I need to fix mine big time. Hang on, this is the 4th stamp, the 5th stamp, and it looks a little bit better, but it doesn't look like a nice crisp line by any means.
Yeah, I haven't got, I've got a stubby wing. I can't, if there's one thing that I hate the most in life, it's a stubby wing.
All right, I'm going in with this other side so you can see the pen there, and I'm going to try to firstly correct it, which makes me question what was the point of the stamp to begin with. I don't actually really like the shape of the stamp. It's actually not too bad. I don't know, it's a bit bigger than what I'd like.
The felt tip is really
firm,
hard.
Yeah.
That's as good as it's get, baby. I'm literally
You're struggling. Look, I've had
if I do anything else to that, it's going to be fucked right up.
I did find that this, I did have to do a lot of corrections. The wing looks fine now, I think, but it's not just the stamp. You do need this for a lot of corrections.
Yeah.
All right. The problem is going to be getting it even.
All right.
It's hard to
That's a really good point, because that's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
The stamper is big, right? And it's doing a whole wing at once. Okay, it's got to be a certain size, but you can't see where it starts. You can't see where you're putting it. You can't even
you can't.
Guess.
That was fucking woeful. Look at that.
Oh, show me. Oh yeah, no.
That's because I've got quite hooded, and there's a lot of
lid
It's not a
space.
flat.
Yeah.
It's not a flat surface.
Yeah,
it's a curved surface.
It is a curved surface, and you have to sort of...
Oh my god, that's
Not good.
not good. It just doesn't want to stamp onto my eye shape, and the more I try, the more I fuck it up. So I don't. This doesn't work unless you've got a super nice flat lid. If you've got a curve in there, you've got any texture or anything, it's just not going to sit as nicely as you would like. There's a lot of, like, I almost go, what is the point of doing this at all? Because it is so much easier just to draw a line from where you want it to go to your lash line, like I've just done there, and then draw it back to your lash line to create your own wing. Okay, so one, I've got more sort of flat and pointed, like less curved, because that stamp didn't stamp in a curve, and then this one looks more curved and they look completely different. So it's not one of those foolproof things, and I find that okay, the problem with wings, I find, is that doesn't matter what shape you do them, as long as you sort of have them even on either side, you end up looking okay. Like,
Yeah.
that's pretty much the rule of thumb. If they're very flat and long, doesn't matter as long as they're both flat and long. If they're very curved up, doesn't matter as long as they're both curved up. With this stamping tool, you really can't gauge where you're putting it closely enough or precisely enough to be able to mimic what you've done on the other side. And I think that's a key thing with wing liner, and just a pen itself, you can sort of map out, like look at both eyes straight on and go, okay, this one's got that sort of slant, so I've got to mimic that with this side. You can't do that with the stamp. So I'm left with completely different wings. They look okay with a lot of correction, but they're very different wings.
Yeah, I'm left with different wings as well. I agree with what Kat said. It's fine to stamp it on, but you can't see that you're stamping it even in the remotely similar spot. So you're setting yourself up for failure, because you do need your base lines to be at even levels for the wing to look even at the end of the day. Also, I don't like it. I don't like this felt tip. It is hard and scratchy. If you've got crepey eyelids and you try and drag this over your lid, it skips.
It skips, yeah.
It doesn't bleed, which is great.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
It doesn't.
Often liners like this do bleed on me.
Doesn't bleed.
This one doesn't, so that's great.
The brown colour is pretty.
The black colour's pretty.
Yeah, very, like, they are opaque, which is great.
All right, so I think the thing is that this review is done by people that do winged liner pretty much on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Now, wing liner, for even if you've been doing it for over a decade like I have, it is something that you can mess up very, very easily.
Absolutely.
And the key thing is to learn how to correct it. Like, because it's all about the shape that you do and trying to mirror that same shape on the other eye. And I just found that, especially since with the stamps, you can't see where it's placed because the packaging is so bulky.
It's bulky.
So even if you could see the stamp a little bit clearer and see exactly where it's placed, then it might be a little bit easier. But the precision with this was not there at all. And I also found that the stamp itself wasn't even crisp enough to get a good stamp. If you do have any sort of hollowness in your eyes, if you have a very flat eye space, you're going to like this.
Yeah.
But if you're like me, where it's almost like you're stamping onto like a creased area where you're like stamp and then it expects it somehow to stamp flat, it doesn't do it. It doesn't do it. So for me, I don't get it. And I think even potentially having a smaller thin pen with a smaller wing just as the starting shape, where you can more precisely just do a little tiny triangle and then build on it with the pen, would have been better than these big bulky ones that you need a left and a right.
Yeah, I actually found it kind of frustrating to use, because I found myself feeling really anxious about it. Getting the wing in the right spot, because if you don't get it in the right spot, you've fucked it up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, wing placement, the tail of a wing, the placement is like the most important thing about making a wing look good on particular eye shapes. And when it come to doing the second one, I was like, if I screw this up, I'm literally going to have wonk wonk all over my face. It's going to make my eyes look wonky. It's going to look like shit. It's going to be hard to correct. And that made me, like, I was like, thank God it's the end of the day and I don't have to wear this all day. I think like,
that's fair.
It just, I actually found it really, like, it made me anxious.
Yeah.
I was like, please, just give me a brush and a liquid.
Yeah,
like, I can
agree.
do this. I can do this.
And like you as well, I didn't like the felt tip of this pen.
Yeah.
I think if you have ever tried to do a winged liner and you struggle, I think there are two key things that are probably good tips. One is to go for quite a small brush.
Yeah.
So like a liner like this with a brush end, or to get a pot gel liner and a brush
yes.
and paint it on, because it's surprising how much more control you have with a brush than you have with a felt tip, especially a felt tip that is so chunky. Like, I did appreciate that the tip was very pointed, so you can go and...
It is very pointed,
Yeah. But when you are doing this part and you're dragging it along to fill that line, I just felt that I kept making it thicker than I needed it to be. It does skip because it doesn't curve with the skin. It's very firm.
That's why brushes are often a little bit more forgiving. So whether it be a brush tip like with the Maybelline Master Precise pen, or if you use a angled liner brush with a gel or a thin liner brush, it's because the hairs will actually curve with your body.
Correct.
So as it's going across your face, the hairs will sort of hug it and apply colour smoothly. But a felt tip, not many of them do that. And the firmer the felt tip, the less it will like conform to your actual curves.
Yeah.
And that's when it'll start to skip over the skin. Then you go back to fix it and you go, oh shit, a little bit too much. I'll make it a little bit bigger.
And then you end up having
and then
the wings
before you
this
know
big.
it, you are a panda and you're crying in your bedroom.
Yes.
So
I think these are like...
I like the innovation kind of, like the, you know, like we're trying to do something different. Like I do like that. And similar to the magnetic lashes, like, you know, it's innovative, but is it necessarily better?
No.
I don't think it is.
I think what annoys me about this, so this is more of a product for beginners who are like, I want to get into doing a wing. And like you were saying before, this will never teach you how to do a wing properly because you're not actually taught the technique of how to draw the wing, which is actually pretty simple. I think the key thing is to practice and also find out what shape works for your eyes. I think that's the hardest part.
That is the key.
Yeah, and then being able to mirror it on each side. And I think that is pretty much all you need to know about winged liner. And I think this makes it harder than it needs to be. And this is targeted at people who probably struggle with liner in the first place. And this is going to make you think that it is actually harder than it needs to be.
And it's not,
honestly. It's not this hard. It's
wing
not this
liner,
hard.
if you understand, like there's only a few things you need to do well with wing liner. Understand your eye shape and which type of wing looks best on your personal eye shape. Find a tool that works best for you, whether it be a brush. Some people do love felt tips, or like a brush in a pen or in a pot or whatever. And practice your lines. Practice getting your lines straight and understanding, you know, how thick the wing should be for you. These are all things that you will learn with trial and error.
Not with this.
That will never teach you. It won't.
No.
It
might
won't.
teach you...
I'm sure you could become an absolute fucking gun at applying this 100%, but I do feel like it's limiting.
I agree. It's not for me.
You're not going to get a glitter liner with that, honey.
That's true.
You've got to learn how to apply it yourself.
That's true. But I do, one thing I do like about this, like we were saying before, I think the formula of the liner
I agree.
works quite well. It's very intense in colour, and
Doesn't bleed.
it doesn't bleed.
Worst thing, bleeding liner.
I do have the tendency to, like I'm getting crepier eyes, I do get sort of watery eyes, and sometimes liners, you put them right on the inner part and they just start
I know. It's
dispersing.
bad. Yeah, and suddenly you actually look like something out of a horror movie.
Yeah, so this doesn't do that, which is great.
Yeah.
So my immediate pro of this is definitely the formula, but the application is not my favourite.
No.
It's just pushing me to get just a liner brush and a hot gel and be like, do it better.
Yeah.
Do it better.
I think I would probably maybe attempt to play with this once or twice again in the future, but it will never ever ever replace my typical method of applying liner, because I can do it quicker and it doesn't leave me feeling like that was too much to start the day.
I just think the inconsistency between eyes, like I have completely different wings on.
Yeah.
And individually they're like, that looks alright and that looks alright. But together I look like a mess.
You do. They're different.
I look like a mess.
Mine are different as well. Yeah.
I look like a mess, and I've been doing liner for over a decade, and I'm like, if I did this one with a pen, I would have been able to mimic it on this side.
Yeah.
If I did that one, I could mimic it on this side. But with the stamps, I just couldn't do it.
Yeah. I think fun to try out, and I totally respect people who are like, they're into it or they're keen to try it. Go ahead, try it. They're not super duper expensive, but I wouldn't say that they're a game changer personally. That's just,
they make my life harder.
Yeah, I know. I need to finish my cup of tea.
Yeah, which is what we'll do.
We will. All right, guys. We hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to let us know down in the comments if you've tried the Quick Flick. What size? What color? Do you love it? Do you also feel like, okay, it has a place, but it's not going to replace typical eyelining methods for you? Let us know. Let us know your thoughts, and we will see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.